Hello world and welcome to Elevated Intuition. Today we are doing a reading messages for starseeds or light workers, however whatever term resonates with you, from the Galactic Federation of Light. So I do several of these readings. I have others, and if you're interested in the GFL or you want to know what that is or my thoughts on the GFL, I have several videos. I will link those down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the GFL. But these are particular messages for you, and I'm doing this as a pick a card because we're not all the same. We have different, sometimes you'll see people on YouTube doing channeled messages for everyone. I'm called to do 3 cards. I'm called to do 3 messages because we all have different backgrounds and we all have different, we're not all here to do the same thing. We're not all here for the same purpose, and we're not all at the same level either. We're not all at the same pace. I don't even know what that would look like. In school, we have got kindergarten through high school, and then we've got college. I don't even know what the hierarchy of the Galactic Federation of Light would be. And if you've heard, what the hierarchy is, I'd love to know. But whatever. So I digress. But let's look at messages for you, things that the GFL would like you to know. So pick a card reading. I've got 3 options here for us. So if you're not used to this, you get to use your intuition to pick the card, number, or object. I'll be placing objects here in a moment that resonates with you. And then I've got the timestamps down below. Pick group 1, pick the timestamp down below, and go to that group, and then I use my intuition to then read the cards for you. I've also been told that the GFL would never communicate this way, through cards. So I find that interesting, that you believe in the GFL, you believe in aliens, you believe in people communicating with them, but you draw the line at doing it via cards. Okay, but that's how I communicate, so that's why we have this. Anyway, let's put the objects on. Group 1, we have Caribbean Calcite. So that's what we're going to do for group 1. Group 2, we have, this is Septarian Nodule. So that's what we're going to do for group 2. And group 3, this is Carnelian. The red part is Carnelian. The other part is agate. I just really liked how it all swirled together, which is why I got this particular Carnelian heart rather than just an all red heart. But you decide which one you like. So if you're still having a hard time deciding, you can do an exercise with me. I'm going to close my eyes, so I invite you to do that too. I'm gonna stand up tall, put my feet on the ground, just feel really grounded, and I'm gonna take a deep breath in and release. Release out any tension, release out any anxiety. We're just here in this moment, and concentrate on messages that you need to hear right now. Now go ahead and open your eyes, and wherever your eyes are drawn, that is the pile for you. So thank you so much. Timestamps are down below, and I'll meet you at your reading. Hello, group 1. If you picked this Caribbean Calcite heart, you are in the right place. So let's take a look at messages from the GFL. The first card we have here is the Cosmic Flower. We have the Crumbling. What are you clinging on to is the question that's being asked. And we have Inner Earth. You'll survive this. New solutions and beginnings. So very interesting, because these 3 cards are connected in very interesting ways. First of all, let's talk about the Cosmic Flower because it came out first. The frequency of the Cosmic Flower activates our remembrance of the place we call home, the core, for which we pour our magnificence out into the world. And inner earth is the core of the earth. This really reminds me, I was just watching a video, the Medium channel. Shout out to Adam over there at the Medium channel, and I will put a link down below to the video where he was talking about grounding, because I think it's really important, especially when we have inner earth and we're talking about starseeds here. And I mean, I imagine if you clicked on this video, you resonate with that or interested in that or find yourself drawn to it for a reason. That video really talks about kind of being connected psychically, energetically to something that's larger than yourself. We'll just put it that way, because I think there's so many different ways that we can the people can resonate with that term starseed, and for a reason. I mean, that's why I have 3 options here. That's why we have different messages going out for different people, because we all have different goals, we have different backgrounds. I mean, we're all super unique, and I think that's something that's really important for us all to understand. However, we are all connected, which is kind of like the cosmic flower, and we're connected at our core. We're connected through love and through our heart. But what's really important is not to get overly in your head, I guess. Overly like, just I'm getting this like idea of floating, but where you just aren't connected to the earth, because there's a reason that you're here, and there's a reason that you need to be connected to the earth, and grounding is really important. And one of the ways to ground or to connect with our higher self, to connect with God or spirit or the universe, however you want to define that, connect with the larger self. And Adam talks about this, and that's why, you know, it's so interesting it comes up, because the cosmic flower talks about our heart center, our love, and inner earth obviously connects to inner earth. And those were 2 of the 3 ways he talked about connecting with the universe. And that was going to the center of the universe, to connecting to spirit, the highest self, and it was going to the inner earth, the center of the earth, and is connecting through our heart, because our heart and our love is what connects us to everybody. But beyond that, it's interesting that you have the crumbling and you also have inner earth, because both of them, this right here, it says new solutions and beginnings, and the crumbling is kind of like, are you clinging on to some old ideas that just, like, the only reason it's working is because you're making it work. The only reason that it is thriving is because we're letting it thrive. Whether that be in a realm of politics, in a realm of in your own personal life, what are you like really kind of holding together that you should just surrender and let go of? Let it crumble, because there's a reason that it's crumbling. And it's really beautiful here that we have like this opening, we have this tower coming down, but it is blocking us. It's actually blocking us. And if you were like, I'm getting this vision of, if you've seen Spider-Man, of like, he has his web slung here and is like trying to hold it together. But really he's just being ripped apart. And if he just let it go, he would understand that the tower is coming down for a reason, because we've got beautiful things coming here in our future. And it's also super interesting, because this is almost like a portal. Our heart center is also a portal. It's a portal to our highest good, our highest self, our connection, our love for everyone around us. And we have inner earth. And inner earth is such an interesting concept to me, because it's super old idea. It's not new age, it's not new, it's an old ancient idea that the center of the earth, that there's actually more there, that there are openings to the center of the earth. And I mean, there's different traditions that talk about it, like the Celtic tradition talks about caves that open up to inner earth. Inner earth is said to be where Atlantis went, Lemuria in inner earth. There is Shambhala, which is in the Tibetan Buddhism refers to that secret mystical city, which is thought to be located in the Himalayas. But it's just like, the whole concept though, I feel like it's coming through here to remind yourself to ground yourself, but also that there are solutions beyond what you can perceive, that's what you're thinking of right now. There are surprising outcomes to your problems and solutions, resolutions that are in the best interests of all involved, not just you. If you find yourself facing an obstacle or feeling stuck and you have no idea what to do, you're being reassured at this moment that there is a way out. You will survive. And not only survive, but thrive. And I kind of feel like holding this tower together, or trying to pull it together, is kind of the same old. It's I wouldn't say solution, but it's what you feel like is the solution right now. And it's going to come down whether you are trying to hold it together or not. So certainly trying to hold everything together gets tiring, and it's when you surrender, you just allow, and instead of fighting it, kind of flow with it. So let's get some more information here. What else does our group 1 need to know? Okay, we'll see what that is. Ooh, interesting. Knight of Wands, and we've got the 3 of Cups. So you're not the only one seeking these kinds of things. There's other people, there's like-minded people. That's kind of probably why you're watching this video. And I feel like there are other people that you're meant to be a part of your tribe that's going to help you. It's also very interesting. We have these rings here. I was talking about a portal. I think you're going somewhere. And in a way, it is a transformation. There's so much talk about going from the 3D to the 5D. You're headed there, okay? It is part of a movement in your spiritual awakening, your spiritual well-being, and I feel like you need to know that you are protected. You can set boundaries with others. And certainly there are people who are here to support you, but the people who aren't supporting you, that's okay. They don't need to be a part of your circle. You don't have to share that with everyone. Not everyone is going to understand you're being drawn to things like Lemuria and Atlantis. Not everybody can have those conversations about falling apart so that you can fall together. Not everybody is going to understand these things. And that's so interesting with the circles here, because I feel like the cosmic flower, if you can kind of see this, it is all of these circles, because this is a deck about sacred geometry. So all of these circles kind of like intertwined, right? And I kind of feel like the 3 of Cups might be where you are right now, because you have the circles, you're just not really sure about where they go or where they're supposed to be yet, and that's okay. You kind of are gathering the tools, and you're not quite sure how to put them together to create that portal, to create that movement. And when I say movement, I mean movement within, like when you would say you were moved emotionally, that movement to your well-being. There's a portal that we're going through, but it is your movement from 3D to 5D. The cosmic flower, it's overflowing with all aspects of the fullest expression of who you really are. And it's so connected to the crumbling here because it's moving forward with authenticity. There's no more faking things. There's no more, kind of putting on that brave face. You don't have to fake it till you make it. You're making it. And what's interesting, that's one of those things I used to say a lot, like fake it till you make it. But what's interesting, that's almost like a pep talk that you can give yourself, because you're like, I'm not really sure how to do this task, for instance. For me, it was a job, and I wasn't really sure how I would accomplish this. And I would just say in my head, oh, I'll fake it till I make it. And I will just, and once you start doing it, you realize you're doing it. You're actually not even faking it at all. You are I say this a lot in my readings, so if you may have heard this before. Have you ever heard of Sasha Fierce? Do you know who Sasha Fierce is? Beyonce, you probably know who Beyonce is. Beyonce says that she is actually like a very shy person, and it's very difficult for her to perform on stage. Like, she is introverted, she's shy. That is not like her, I don't want to say her true being, because she is that person on stage. She is that person who performs. And whatever you feel about her music or what she performs, we can all agree that there's something about her that is really magnetic. Like, people pay attention to what she does. People want to see her perform. They pay a lot of money for it. So she channels Sasha Fierce, and it's kind of like her alter ego when she is on stage. And this is kind of the same for you. I feel like we're stepping out into some new territory. You're not quite sure what you're supposed to be doing, what's kind of going on with it. That's okay. The whole like fake it till you make it, even though all the cards are saying, be your authentic self. You really are being your authentic self. You're just pulling that, you're channeling the energy of yourself doing it. It's you. It's just maybe you in like a different reality. It's you in like maybe it's future you. And you're just pulling it together and moving forward as that person. And you pull it together really quickly. We've got the Knight of Wands here. The Knight of Wands moves super quickly. And look, you're jumping through this hoop, you're jumping through that portal, you're becoming your, another step here in we call it a spiritual awakening, or your highest good, your next self, connecting with yourself and the universe. The cosmic flower, let's kind of go back here to this because it's bringing together your creativity. Wands is that creative spirit. Three of Cups is that is love. So we've got the love that we have for other people, the love we have for yourself, and you're bringing it all together. And I'm just going to get 2 more cards here. What else does group 1 need to know? Ooh, look at this, orphaned. And one more. I think that, well, let's get this card out and then I'll go with it. To the sea. Very interesting. Because both of these, look at them. Whew, I think this is connecting to our energy right now, that you're listening to me and wondering like, what are you talking about? I feel very lonely. I feel super alone. And that's because you're trying too hard to keep this tower together. I feel like you need to, we're talking about your feelings here. I feel like you need to just allow. I don't feel like there's a lot of action necessarily that you need to take, even though the Knight of Wands is an action card. If you're not feeling like you know what direction you're supposed to be going, you just, and see this to the sea kind of thing, you're just floating in a boat, just allowing it. Notice there's the compass. It is it is ahead of you. It is pulling you in the direction that you need to go. All you need to do is allow. And yes, we all feel kind of alone and orphaned at times. Totally get that. The way to but there are people here for you that are supporting you, okay? So even if you have like these weird ideas and you think that everybody's going like, trust me, like Starseed is one of those words that you're like, what? Or you want to know what messages aliens have for you. Of course, there's not a lot of people, perhaps, or you're kind of concerned that if you bring that up to other people, they're not going to understand. But there's a group of people out there that totally understand, and you will be connected to as soon as you stop trying to hold things together and you start seeking kind of this. And I feel like the inner earth is also kind of like, we put up this front, but really underneath each of us, we have this rich, beautiful, interesting, and everybody knows something that you don't know. And all you have to do is like poke around and look for it a little bit and just allow it to happen. I think there's some very magical conversations and communications in your future. And at this point, you're looking at me wondering like, what? I don't get it at all. And because back to the kind of this orphan energy and this to the sea energy, because it's a very kind of a lonely energy, but you're not meant to be that way. There is your tribe is out there. They are going to find you, or you're going to find them. All you have to do is open up and allow. All you have to do is walk with love and allow your heart to lead, and you're going to be moving forward here in victory, is what I have for you. So beautiful. And yes, the crumbling is difficult, because when things get pulled away from us that we've always known, our ego, our human ego self, which is why grounding is so important, our human ego self has a hard time with that. It doesn't understand. It wants to keep us on the path that we've always known, but you know that you are bigger than that. You feel it in your heart. You feel it probably in your third eye. I also see your third eye opening up a little bit. And allow that to guide you. Just feel like, especially with the cosmic flower here, is radiating out that love, and that will attract your tribe, so you don't have to feel orphaned anymore, and you don't have to feel like you're alone here in this to the sea. And what's also really interesting in these cards, I don't know if you can see it, I'm just going to hold it up here. Even though you kind of feel like you're all alone, this looks like she's in a nest, there is a face here. So there is also a face here. Even though you feel like you're all alone, I feel like the universe, like the GFL, really want you to succeed, and you're here for a reason. It's here to allow things to crumble, because it needs to be rebuilt, and you are here to help guide and rebuild it. So that's what I have for you, Group 1. You are super, super important, even if you don't feel like it at the moment. Just allow and go with the flow. It's going to pull you where you need to go. And when it's time for you to, there's going to be a point where you move through a portal and you're like, oh my goodness. And what I mean by that is we create our own realities, and the reality that you see other people going through isn't going to affect you. You're going to see people talking about maybe shortages, and you're going to be like, wait, that's not what I see in my own life. Or you're going to see people talking about illnesses or sicknesses, and you're going to be like, but that's not what I see in my life. when I look at my life and I look at myself and I look at my family, that's not what's happening. It's because you've gone through this portal and you're creating your own reality, and you can pull others through it with you, which is great, because look at how beautiful the future is for you. It's basically a paradise, but you have to be the brave one to kind of weather the storm a little bit alone, so that once you go through that, you can help others through that. So I love that for you, Group 1. Thank you so much for being here, and I will see you in the next reading. Hello, Group 2. If you picked the Septarian nodule, you are in the right place. Let's take a look at the cards, shall we? The first one you have is Magic, Jump In, and Priestess. So a lot of manifesting, a lot of courageous energy, and a lot of being the leader energy. This and I mean, like, the Priestess and Jump In both talk about courage. Magic talks about manifesting. You are here to shake things up. You are not here to be quiet. You're not here to be a shrinking violet. You are here to share your story, share your experiences, and make things happen. So let's start with Magic. The frequency of magic supports our intrinsic ability to grow and expand beyond this moment, to move towards possibilities and expressions that are as grand and profound as we can imagine. All that is required is a belief in their manifestation. It's really important for you to believe in yourself. Believe that you're a leader. I don't know if you're feeling that right now, but you are. You're here to be a leader. You're here to lead by example. You're here to be bold. It's really interesting because I feel like this Septarian nodule crystal, if you were drawn to that, I mean, you're at this pile, so I imagine you are, is a very bold crystal. It doesn't look like anything else. And I feel like you yourself don't look like anything else. That's because you're a leader. You're supposed to be out there. And it doesn't mean that you know what you're doing. It doesn't mean that you necessarily know where you're going. And that's kind of what this Andromedan energy, this jump in energy is about. Adventure, say yes to change. The Priestess, how are you being called to step up and lead? Let's talk about this jump in. Andromedan energy. So Andromedans would be beings from the Andromeda galaxy. That's what I was going for. That's the word, because Andromedan galaxy is the closest to the Milky Way. So you know. And Andromedans are they're very bold. They're very much the courageous is the word that I'm looking for. Life bends for the courageous, and courageous is what you're being called to be. You're already facing the right direction. The only thing left to do is leap. You'll figure out the details as you go along. Things may not always be smooth sailing. Life on Earth rarely is. However, it's the rougher seas that teach us how to sail with glory. And once you know that, you can navigate any sea, ocean, or storm. So it's like, you're bold, you're tough, you're courageous. You've got like this mental and this probably even a physical toughness to you. And I hope, because I'm feeling right now, I'm being called to like sit up straight, put my shoulders back, and so are you, and just to go forward and lead, especially I love that we have a magic and we've got that priestess, because you are somebody who can manifest. The first step in that is believing that you can. The first step is believing this calling and just going, again, jump in, just going out and doing that. The high priestess is a leader, is a teacher, and sometimes, you know, the best way to learn something is to teach it. And I know that seems backwards, but if you have a deep calling, maybe let's say astrology, for instance, and you don't know anything about astrology, think about what you would tell others about it. And of course, you're going to need some reference books, and of course, you're going to need to delve into it. But the best way for you to learn it yourself is to look at it and then teach it to somebody else. And you lead and teach by example. That's why you are different from everybody else. Don't get stuck on age, income, hobbies, or occupation when you're looking around. Well, and even up for yourself. But I was going to say when you're looking around for people in your tribe, because just because somebody doesn't look like you, because somebody isn't from the same like cultural background as yours, doesn't mean that they don't have like deep within their heart like the same calling that you have. And that's what's really interesting about Schoolroom Earth. That's what's really interesting about being here, is how we're all kind of like shuffled. Especially if you resonate as being like a starseed or a light worker, any of those kind of like monikers, because it's interesting how somebody who is put in a completely different culture on the other side of the world can have like the same kind of callings or the same kind of core beliefs that you do. And when you start stripping things down, like we take away the names, we take away the you know, the specifics, like at the core, we are so much more similar than we are different. And I kind of feel like I'm going off on this tangent because that's something that you are here to help with. It's your you're here to lead. The other thing is, like, the best way to discover your tribe is to look in the mirror. That's what it says in the book. For me, there's an exercise that I do, and I taught my son this because he has a diagnosis. I won't talk about that, but it is difficult for him to deal with social and emotional issues, and he was being bullied and he didn't really know how to deal with it. But one of the exercises that we went through is how to attract people that you want in your life and how to repel people that you don't want. Just without even saying anything, but really it's more of an energy thing. So when I see the term mirror here, and you're looking for your tribe, or you're looking for like-minded individuals to move forward here and create magic and be co-creators of a universe, to bring the new, bring in our new earth. One of the things is where it says, look in the mirror here for this priestess, but to attract people that you're supposed to attract, what I do is, it's almost like putting a boundary around yourself, because like I said, it does repel people who are kind of like a waste of time and who you don't need to deal with, like you don't want to deal with their energy. And it's a very energetic thing. So I sit here and I close my eyes and I envision my body being covered with mirrors, maybe like a molten mirror. If you've ever seen Silver Surfer from the Marvel comics, he's just like, well, he's silver and he's just all silver. And I envision myself like that. Sometimes you can envision yourself with armor, but like very shiny armor. And it matters if that it's shiny, because, or a mirror-like material. Because when somebody comes to you and they look at you and the reflection of themselves is reflected back, people who with negative energy and who are like a waste of time for you, they aren't attracted to that. They want to cause chaos. And when they just see themselves reflected back, they don't want that. They don't want to deal with themselves. That's why they're projecting this negative energy to begin with. So it's so interesting how this works. Like I said, it's an energetic thing. And how they see their reflection and they move on. But people who are part of your tribe, they see their reflection and they're attracted to it because they want to see people, they're just open. They're open people. They're open beings. They're open to, there's like this goodness in their heart. So I felt called to tell you that. Let's see what else comes out here. Queen of Cups reversed. Very interesting. And, ooh, we get the Four of Cups reversed. Love it. So, important message for you. You can't pour from an empty cup. And there's a big element of this where you are stepping up as a leader, stepping up, finding your tribe, blah, blah, blah. Right? Well, normally we would think, well, the Queen of Cups, who is a creator of this beautiful emotional energy and who, creates but she creates it for other people. When I have her in reverse, I want you to create that for yourself. You need to, again, because people are going to be attracted to you because you're leading by example. So you can't pour from an empty cup. Again, this is something else that comes up a lot in my readings. You can't pour from an empty cup. I have to remind myself that. So I know there's a lot of moms out there. We want to do and we want to be the best for everyone around us, and we forget about ourselves. I go downstairs and I make sure that my kids eat. I go downstairs and I make sure that they have lunch. And when I do all that, I forget about myself. And then I'm super crabby, and then they have a crabby mom, even though I've done all these wonderful things for them. But that's the example that I'm giving you here for this Queen of Cups energy. You need to make sure that you are feeding yourself. You need to make sure you are feeding your soul so that you have the strength to jump in, that you have the strength to manifest, that you have the strength to do these beautiful and wonderful things. And then we have the Four of Cups reverse. Again, a lot of cups, well, 2 cups cards, but a lot of connection really to our emotional well-being and to your emotional well-being. I think that boundaries, again, like that exercise that I talked about, is so important. And I think when we've got the Queen of Cups reversed and the Four of Cups reversed here, it's a reminder of setting those boundaries around ourselves and not allowing. Sometimes we think that, we are very powerful. And I hope you recognize that in yourself, that you are very powerful, that you are a leader, that you are, that you have a lot of strength. And sometimes we think that because we're like this, that we can go out and take on the world and help everybody. You cannot help people who are not willing to work with you and who don't want to help themselves. This is something that I've had a conversation with a person in my own life who is so giving and who is so open. And the thing is sometimes he scares people off because he's so, but everybody comes to him with their issues and he can solve them. He can help them. But he's also somebody who is willing to take steps for someone else that they aren't willing to take themselves. So I feel like it's really important, this is coming up here with these cards, and that's just an example. Because I feel like you are that type of person that you are so invested in other people and their manifestations that you are willing to do things that they themselves are not willing to do. As an example, this person that I'm talking about, he was going to help somebody work on their Jeep. And he was willing to give up his Saturday to do it. But the person's Jeep, who it was, they themselves were not willing to do that. So it's kind of like you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. And even though you know that they need to do something, and you have the ability to help them do it, if they're not willing to show up themselves, you can't constantly put yourself out there. You just make the offer. You are available, but you can't push it. Okay. So, and you will be happier that way as well, okay? Because you'll have boundaries around yourself. And a lot of times too, if you drag your feet on some of these things, like they'll figure it out themselves. And they need to, maybe. They need to maybe figure it out themselves too, okay? And that's what I'm reading here in both of these cards. Four of Cups. I love that it's reversed for you because it's actually better in reverse. We've got somebody who is kind of like sitting in the rain, but look at them, they are dry. So it's kind of like going back to the exercise I talked about, where you're picking up maybe some negative energy from other people. That would be like the rain coming in around you. But your energy itself, like your actual reality, is you're dry. You have people helping you, and it's actually a really beautiful thing. So when it's in reverse, because, you know, right now we're upright, she's kind of in this energy of looking at the worst possible thing, and it's not even affecting her. When it's in reverse, you're realizing that. You're realizing kind of like the beauty that is around you, the miracles that happen just for you, because you're on a different level. Like, you're manifesting it. You're in a completely different level. Like, your reality is completely different than the person sitting next to you just because of who you are and what you manifest. Let's see what else we have for you, group 2. What else does group 2 need to know? I mean, so far, I think you learned a lot here. Regeneration. Beautiful. I love that. And community. Look at this. So, more about you stepping up and being a leader. Regeneration, more about that magic and that manifestation, that understanding that beautiful things come from what seems like devastation. I love this particular card because look at it. It looks like this is a lava flow, but look at the growth that's coming here. Look at this beautiful growth. It kind of reminds me of Hawaii. If you've ever been there, gorgeous. But it's made from active volcano. The Big Island, there's an active volcano on it. So sometimes things can be devastating, but if it didn't occur, it wouldn't even exist. So that is it, not necessarily like the silver lining, but understanding like, sometimes destruction, or sometimes, like this, definitely this magma flow, kind of seems like devastation and destruction, but really it is there for your growth. And then we've got community. I love this as well. So much connected to the priestess when we were talking about, so much connected to you stepping up and being a leader. This is just a sign that you are going to figure it out. You're going to find your community if you haven't already. And I kind of feel like one of the themes around, people talk about the 3D going to the 5D. I really connect it with the age of Pisces and going into the age of Aquarius, which, you know, we're not quite sure. There's not like a real kind of, we kind of have crossed over into the age of Aquarius, right? These are like, last for 2,000, 2,500 years, these ages. So the age of Aquarius is, it's interesting to me that is occurring within the spiritual community, talking about going from 3D to 5D, because it feels like an upgrade. And what is important, and the reason I went off on this tangent, is like a lot of things, and maybe that's why regeneration is here as well. Like, a lot of things feel like they're being torn down. Like, there's just a lot of eye-opening right now, which is great. But you are protected. You are connected and protected. With this little hut here. Oh, it's interesting. It says hotel. Okay. So travel as well, you know, jumping in, being bold, say yes to travel, say yes to movement, say yes to, you know, going and discovering others. There's Nick, and I forget the name of his channel, but he was living in Canada. He's Canadian, and now he's in Peru. And I kind of feel like if he watched this video, this would be his, but he just like, boom, I'm gonna do it. So I'm kind of just, you know, specific energy for some people. Like if you feel like doing something crazy, what other people would say is crazy, that's probably not crazy for you. Probably just something that, you know, you feel really connected to and drawn to, and you are a very capable person. You're very capable, so don't let other people's fears bring you down. So that's what I have for you, Group 2. I hope that you have a beautiful day. Thank you so much for being here with me, and I will see you in the next reading. Hello, Group 3. If you picked the Carnelian, you are in the right spot. So let's take a look at the cards that have come out for you. So we have 36, Prosperity. Let's get the rest of these out and then we'll get into that. We have Star Ancestors, Hidden Secrets, Lost Wisdom, Look a Little Deeper. And then we have Anna, Grandmother of Jesus, Seeding the Light, Laying Foundations, and Divine Path. So, wow, what's really important for you, I'm probably going to say what's important for you a lot. I've noticed myself saying that, but I mean, we're here for messages, right? So, Anna, Grandmother of Jesus, this is like my mom's favorite character, her favorite, and you know, favorite person, I will say. There are books about her, but the whole point of Anna, Grandmother of Jesus, at least especially in this deck, especially in this reading, is that she is the one who paved the way. She is the one who set the stage, as if it were, for Christ, for the Christ energy, for the Christ consciousness. And whatever you feel about Christianity, and it's interesting because there's, you know, Egypt back here, we've got the Sphinx, we also have the pyramids here. So a lot of like bringing together of things that we have in your reading, and you are somebody who brings things together, but you're not necessarily, or you don't have to be I don't want to say central figure, but somebody who has a lot of attention drawn to them. You're somebody who you do a lot of hard work behind the scenes. You do it quietly. You lay the foundation. Maybe you don't get the credit that, and I don't think you're worried about that. You're not worried about getting the credit. You're more of like an introverted person. You're not going to be out there screaming from the rooftops. You're not going to be on TV or on YouTube or you know doing all of these things really in public. You're more of a behind the scenes person who makes things possible for other people. You are a muse. That's what you are. You are a muse. And Prosperity. I love that Prosperity is here. I love it with Grandmother of Jesus and even ancient ancestors, because Prosperity is really, there we go again, really important for you. But the concept of prosperity, it gets like a bad rap. It's usually like I'm hearing the money is the root of all evil, not in the context of, you know, you need to shun away from it. As in like that is like something that has been woven through the fabric of our culture. And it's funny because pay attention to the people who tell you that. They are usually the people who want your money. So they tell you that money is the root of all evil, or that you're not pious, or you don't really believe if you are going after money. But money is just energy, and money is just a piece of the puzzle too in prosperity. Prosperity encompasses so much more than money. It is well-being, it is health, it is physical, it is mental. It is like a full picture of things that goes into prosperity. I was hinting at this, and I don't think I completed this thought either, with Anna, grandmother of Jesus, when we're thinking about Jesus, when we're thinking about Christianity, because you can't really divorce the two. Well, and this looks like Christmas lights, so there's a lot going on here. When you think about those things in the time of the year that we're in, and if you're watching this when I upload the video, Jesus' birth, the lore is, that he was born in a manger, that he was born in a barn. And that is often used by people who really are trying to manipulate you, that, well, Jesus was poor. Jesus, his family was actually very wealthy. They were traders, and like his uncle like had a lot of money, and they were traveling. Like the only reason they were traveling is so they could go and pay their taxes. That's what they were doing. And you don't pay your taxes when you're poor. The other thing is like the three wise men were very wealthy when they showed up and bestowed gifts upon Jesus. So there are other people who are more well-versed in these things than I am, but I do know that Jesus was not poor, but it's often said that he is, and it's often used as like, it is a good thought that if you don't, be thankful for what you have, that kind of thing, but it's often used as like a mindset of lack, if you will, for us to think, well, I shouldn't want things, I shouldn't want this, I shouldn't want that. And really all money is an exchange of energy, and it even looks like energy here, this prosperity, like it's coming at you, it's electric. It's an exchange of energy. You do something and somebody, it gives you what they can for that. They trade, you trade, you're exchanging energy, you're exchanging, and I'm seeing a lot of exchanging of energy for you as well, because going back into this Anna, grandmother of Jesus, and even the ancient ancestors' hidden secrets, this lost wisdom, look a little deeper, that kind of thing. I feel like you're somebody who, if you aren't, I think you're really gifted in healing, and you sending healing and being able to do that. The star ancestors, the hidden secrets, a lot of Egyptian imagery here. Well, we have the pyramids, we have the Sphinx there as well, but there's been a lot of speculation on how these pyramids were built and why, and there's a lot of really interesting things, like the position of where they are, and what does all of that mean? We've been speculating about that for centuries, and I feel like there's a meaning for you that you can tap into. I feel like, these types of sending energy, maybe even, connecting with energy, seeing the energy, feeling the energy, these are all things, knowing who to support, because I think you're somebody who supports other people. Like you see people who are doing good work, for instance, and you're able to support them. Either you buy their goods and services, you can, something like a video on YouTube, you support them by liking them, those types of things. You're very, again, going back to that whole idea of you being a muse, of you being I don't want to say supporting character, because that, it doesn't really encompass all that you do and all of your power, because you're super, there's a lot to you. There's a lot hidden still. There's a lot to be discovered still, and how powerful you are. And when you discover your origins, like, you're going to truly understand the depth of your soul and the depth of your power. You're being invited with this Star Ancestor card to step into your ancient knowingness, to be held by the rememberings of the star ancestors, to look a little deeper. If you're feeling stuck, you're being called to do something different, to change your point of view. Creativity happens when you put two things together that don't belong, when you do the unexpected. So often a creative solution is right in front of us, but because we think the same thoughts and act the same way, we miss what's in the open. And it's so interesting because, like, these are massive. They're huge. We should understand, or we should have remembered, or we should know their purpose, and we really don't. We really, really don't. Okay? I'm talking about the pyramids. So it's just like a symbol of, like, the depth of things that we have kind of forgotten. And when we talk about reincarnating here on Earth, we talk about things that we forget. And I feel like embracing this Anna, grandmother of Jesus energy, and really connecting with your higher self and your higher purpose. I feel like maybe it could be baby steps. It doesn't have to be massive, but I feel like that is a way to guide you forward into what your purpose is and what you're supposed to be doing, and really your gifts here, and in guiding the earth from the 3D to the 5D. You are really important. You are a foundational character. You are a foundational person. You are here for a reason. You chose to be here, and there's going to be a lot of hidden knowledge and hidden things that you are going to be channeling in and bringing in and helping to bring the messages to the masses and helping others to awaken. Looking at things creatively. I think that also kind of goes along with prosperity here. And I say that because in the new earth, the new energy, the 5D, prosperity is for everyone. We should all be prosperous. We should all, and just because somebody else is prosperous doesn't take away from our own prosperity. So that's another thing. Limitations, getting rid of limitations, I feel like is really important to you. I think that our ancients couldn't build the pyramids if they felt like they were limited beings. So just keep that in mind. The frequency of prosperity supports our feeling of well-being by allowing the inclusion of everything that makes our body, mind, heart, soul, and spirit sing. So it's all of those things. It's not just what's in your bank account. It invites us to express ourselves in joy and celebration of abundance and riches that the universe provides. It's also interesting to me, I don't know, when the first thing that I thought when I saw this card is, this looks like Christmas lights. It's just fun, and I mean, prosperity should be fun. What you do for a living should be fun. You should find joy in it. It should be purposeful and joyful. Let's see what else we've got for you, because I've got several more cards to pull. So what else does group 3 need to know? Ooh, that's interesting. 4 of Pentacles. And Justice reversed. So the reason I find Four of Pentacles so interesting, but I think it has more to do with because it kind of mirrors this Anna, grandmother of Jesus. Four of Pentacles is about having wealth, but kind of like sitting on it. And I feel like saving, of course, but it's not like, it's really, you know, I was going back to societal views about prosperity and how, you know, saving is really important, yes, but the reason that we save is a lot of times it comes from a feeling of lack. It comes from this idea that I need to save this right now because I may not be making as much money in the future. Save for a rainy day. And there's nothing wrong with that, but when it comes to the point of like hoarding or just being miserly and you not expressing yourself, or you not, you know, not living your best life, it doesn't mean you have to be extravagant. I think you know this, you know, so there's a balance. And it's interesting that we get justice in reverse, because justice has the scales and it often talks about balance. So I feel like there's some things that maybe that are going on currently with you that need to bring some things into balance. I kind of feel like that's happening on a on a global stage as well. And that's part of why there's this kind of like rising up. I feel like you're seeing injustice, and it is something that is an activator for you, something that drives you, and something that is really important to your core. Justice is related to Libra, so you might be a Libra. And I feel like you have this calling because you're not, like the scales aren't balanced, and you're looking for the scales to be balanced. And that's why I think you're fighting me on the prosperity thing a little bit. Okay? It's this, I don't want to say that you're, you know, feeling like this little bit, like you're not fully buying into this whole prosperity thing. But you should. Let's see what else we got for you. Flexible. I love that. It's interesting that that comes out. I'm not necessarily, you know, when I pull a card, I look at all the other cards to see imagery wise, you know, how things are connected, that kind of thing. So, and look at this Between Worlds. Interesting that this comes out, because I talked about balance because we have the scales, and Between Worlds is balance as well. I kind of feel like you, especially, I don't want to say you're a background player, but you're certainly not somebody who is going to be out on TV or, you know, blasting from the rooftops your beliefs, that kind of thing. But you will, somebody who is blasting from the rooftops their beliefs, you will go and support them, you will go and tell them you appreciate them, you'll go and do those kinds of things. So I feel like that's the kind of balance that you have here, because, and you're seeking out these things because of that injustice that you're seeing. This flexibility thing, I think it's really important for all of us to be flexible. Four of Pentacles can be a card that can be very, very rigid. And so again, it's interesting that you have both of these cards here, because that is a balancing act between being flexible and being very rigid. It is a balancing act between again, when I was talking about the saving kind of thing, or in not saving so much that you're a hoarder. Like, it's not a bad idea to have a nest egg. It's not a bad idea to have a savings. It's not a bad idea to save for a rainy day. Not at all. But there is a point where you become kind of a hoarder. So there's idea about being flexible, this idea about finding balance, I hate when I say this is really important, but it is really important for you. The between two worlds, because I kind of feel like, because you're not, like, you really see, especially with this justice card, like the injustice going around in the 3D, in the earth plane, in reality. Now, there's reason for that. I mean, we're here to learn, we're here to grow, we're here to bring Earth to another level. And I think that you see this, and you also see the future. You also see where it can go. You also see the energy. That's another thing. Like, Anna, grandmother of Jesus, is a visionary, because she, again, foundation, groundwork. You're somebody who isn't afraid to put in the work. It's Four of Pentacles, fours, foundation. You're somebody who is very stable, but you understand, like, you may not be moving as fast as you would like, but that's okay, because you understand the importance of laying that foundation, of putting down that groundwork, of doing that work, because you can see the vividness and the brightness of the future. And it's interesting that between the two worlds, we've got the kind of like this monotone world here, and then we've got a very vivid world where the flamingo is wearing the crown. And flamingo is often a symbol of balance, because they've got those long spindly legs, and they often like just hold on one of them. So that's why they're connected with balance. And of course, scales, of course, are connected with balance. So that's why that's there. Even flexibility. I mean, look at this. Bending one way, bending the other, but very much balance, and very much connected to foundation. So you are really important to the foundation, really important to the future, because of the foundation that you are laying down right here in this moment, right now. So, love you, Group 3. I hope that you have a fantastic day. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you in the next reading.